Well, we're not done with Cena and Orton quite yet, because there are themes that I'd like to explore with both guys. We're going to start with the champ though. He kicked off Raw apologizing to the Authority as he's done before, but there was a little twist to it this time around. He apologized for not being the sadistic viper that they'd entrusted as the face of WWE in the first place. He said he was going to stop the complaining and start kicking ass. The first step in that journey was to defeat John Cena. Well, he lost. Second Raw in a row where Orton was defeated by an Elimination Chamber opponent. What is Randy Orton standing as champion as we move down the road to WrestleMania?
Not great. I did like the promo at the beginning. I also enjoyed his little shot at a certain someone with the whole, I want to be on this, I want to be on that thing. I thought that was kind of cool. But the whole idea of him going back to being the sadistic, individual that he once was nice. But to just come out and lose at the end of the show, it just kind of felt like, oh, okay. Like the first promo really didn't go anywhere. Like if you're just going to lose at the end of the night, then it defeats the purpose of everything you just said, because you're clearly not the sadistic person you once were. So the promo was good. Combine that with the fact he lost the match and it kind of fell flat.
Look, I'm not going to come on here and say that I'm some type of booking expert. If anything, some of my booking decisions or suggestions have been completely off the wall, but it can't be anywhere near the level that the WWE booking team has been doing as of late. For them to, first of all, we've seen this before, okay? I thought that the promo has been on loop for the past month or so. I thought there was something wrong with my TV at this point. I almost didn't even want to give Raw a chance. I was about to say, you know what, I'm going to watch it a little bit later. I'm going to tape this. I'm not even going to watch this, because that segment, it's just like the John Cena and Randy Orton feud. I've seen it so many times up to the point where I'm sick of it. Even if it's good, something good, I don't want to give it any credit. But, yeah, man, Randy Orton, we saw him destroy The Miz in his hometown in front of his parents. I thought that was going to be the turning point. I thought he was going to be, turning back into the Viper. And then we have him cut the promo where he's like, look, man, I know I said it back then, but I promise you I'm going to be awesome this time. I'm going to be the Viper. I'm going to start punting people again. And then he loses. Like, what the hell, man? This has got to be one of the worst champions I have seen since The Miz. I'm talking about the WWE. No, I'm not talking about TNA. Magnus may just be on his way to being the worst champion I've ever seen in my life. But anyway, Randy Orton, this title reign is awful, dude. We've had enough. It's been since SummerSlam. I'm an awful mathematician. So how many months is that? Let's see. 9, 10.
Too long.
Yeah, it's been like 6 or 7 months, dude. This reign is awful. I initially said, you know what, this is going to be cool for him. He's going to get to establish himself as a top heel up until WrestleMania. I honestly want him to lose the belt at the Chamber. He is awful. He's not believable. He's running away from 5'10" midgets, and his work as of late has been mediocre, to say the least. This is an awful title reign.
Yeah, and it wasn't just the fact that he lost on Raw. He ended the show without doing anything to play off of that Viper mentality that he was supposedly going to bring back in the first segment. It's been rare that I've actually seen Randy Orton as this big, huge star that is the common narrative about him. But this title reign in particular, like I've said before, he's regressed back to a child. I mean, he's trying to appease Triple H more so than he's trying to be his own man and do his own thing. And that's not...
preach.
And that's not what I see that should be championship material. That's not face of the WWE material to me. And hopefully, maybe that'll play into the narrative that's coming leading into WrestleMania, that Triple H will be looking for somebody else that is his own man. But right now, I can't take Randy Orton seriously.
Manny, you've actually brought up that point before, but at the time, I was just so wrapped up in the entertainment value of Randy Orton and the Authority. I was looking at it like, oh, these are 3 people that are great on the mic, and the segments were entertaining, but I wasn't looking at the big picture and how it affected Randy Orton. And I can see now that it has negatively affected him, and I just don't like it. I've been complaining for months about how Orton's character has lacked consistency, and you'd think that as we move into the biggest show of the year, that's something that would kinda, maybe sorta be explored, but They obviously have no friggin' interest in that at all. And I will say though, Orton is developing a character, I guess, just not one that I give a rat's ass about. I hate the fact that he's even entertaining the idea of being on cereal boxes and magazine covers and posters. You're not supposed to give a fuck about shit like that. It really seemed as if he was positioning himself as a corporate champion, but somehow you're supposed to return to your roots as a Viper at the same time. I really don't understand that. Maybe it's because it doesn't make any fucking sense, because the two contradict each other, and for that reason, I'm ready for him to make a clean break away from the Authority. I've been ready, honestly. Just RKO their asses and move on with your business, because this partnership has honestly outlived its usefulness. There's no benefit for Randy Orton to continue this association with the Authority, because it's clearly stunting his growth and the possibilities of him being a credible champion and an entertaining, consistent character. And maybe that's why we run into those problems of inconsistency, because those two images of the corporate champion and the Viper, they just do not mix. It doesn't make sense.
And see, it would make sense, and I wouldn't mind it as much if WWE were doing it on purpose and they were going to actually acknowledge that and incorporate that into the storyline. But I don't give them enough credit to believe that they understand how they're bastardizing Randy Orton's character right now.
This storyline, man, it's dropped the stock of so many top stars, or at least top mid-carders, Dolph Ziggler being one to name. I see no benefit with this storyline whatsoever, and it's a really shame, because it's the main attraction of the show. It's the main draw of both Raw and SmackDown as of the past 6-7 months. So it's been a complete dud. This is one of the worst storylines I've seen in years, and to be quite honest, I think this storyline is worse than the Nexus storyline. I'm going that far, because at least with the Nexus, it started out strong, had a hot first and second act. This storyline had, I can't even say the first act was good, because at Night of Champions, Randy Orton, he lost. I mean, he was kind of screwed, but he lost. So, I don't know, man. This storyline's been awful. And for Batista to come in and end the Authority angle, it's just a waste. I don't care how markish it sounds. It's a waste. This guy is like 42, 43 years old, coming out to mixed or no reactions whatsoever. We didn't build anyone. The whole purpose of a corporation angle like this is at least get one guy over. And Roman Reigns does not count, because he had almost nothing to do with the corporation angle.
I think he does count.
Barely. Minimal.
They were the enforcers of the Authority. I think there's value there.
Yeah, but they were like hardly involved with them, like in storyline. I mean, in like interactions with the Authority. You know what I mean?
I'm admittedly scraping the bottom of the barrel here. I'm gonna be honest, but
you're really just marking out for Roman Reigns, aren't you?
But I do have one.
Straws, dude.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes,
and he got beat by two old guys. He's just chilling right now.
But see, we can do that with anything. We could say, oh, this person has been built up, but this happened 5 months later. We cannot ignore the fact that Cody Rhodes did get an amazing push with this Authority storyline.
All right. It's not. I highly doubt seeing this as permanent. I think that the permanent push is going to come from the Goldust angle, but I'll give you that one. You got one guy at the expense of nearly the entire roster. Big Show was already humiliated, but we'll just throw him in there just for the hell of it. One for like 5. Ziggler got destroyed. Daniel Bryan was humiliated. Big Show was humiliated. We've got
The Miz.
The Miz, well, he kind of sucked anyway, but so many. Randy Orton himself, and he's the freaking champion. 1 for 5, dude. You're going to the bench. This storyline is awful.
Like J.R. Smith?
Yeah, J.R. Well, J.R. Smith, he actually made a game winner, so there's nothing. I don't like anything about this story. It's just so, it's watered down too. I mean, if you're going to repeat a storyline that took place like 15 years ago, don't be watered down. Even down to the attack that Randy Orton did on John Cena's father. Looked very hokey.
Yeah, I'm probably at the point also where Randy Orton maybe needs to give it up.
Yeah, honestly, I want to see him go back to being a babyface. He's been such an awful heel lately that I don't even want to see him be a villain anymore. I almost to the point where if this is the type of villain he would portray for the rest of his career, I don't ever want to see him as a heel again.
Is there any way that he can be redeemed and somehow still be champion at WrestleMania?
It's almost too late, because how many times is he going to say, I'm going to be the Viper, and he gets beaten up? I mean, the only way he could fix this is if he's going to have to punt like Stephanie or something, or well, that's not going to work because he's in the... This corporation is holding him back. I guess maybe he can do something with Vince and turn Vince babyface. I thought that Vince being a babyface for WrestleMania 30 would be pretty cool. Maybe putting him in somebody's corner like Daniel Bryan or something. But I say there's one more shot. I don't think it's going to be on the Elimination Chamber. It has to be somewhere at the road to WrestleMania where he's going to have to prove that this guy is sick. I don't want to see any of this, I want to be in posters and magazines. I want to see a maniac from Randy Orton. I want to see this guy, like, give me my money's worth. You know what I'm saying?
2 or 3 years ago, who would have thought that you'd be saying that Randy Orton shouldn't be a heel at this point? I mean, he was one of the top heels in the company. He DDT'd Stephanie and then kissed her while Triple H was handcuffed. That was one of the most heinous things I've seen in wrestling. Can't manage to get a good heel run.
And now they're going out for dinner on a nightly basis talking about their children.